Ladies and gentlemen, this is the SAY 52 by SAY Carbon Yachts. I'm pretty excited to bring this one to you. This is a boat that I believe has no equal. I'm going to do my best in this video to explain why, but she's carbon fiber construction throughout. She's got a Petestep hull, an amazing hull. We're going to test that in the next video. She's about 8.2 tons light ship, so that's including the Seakeeper gyro. That's about half the weight of some of her direct competitors, and she's just bloody sexy. It's so incredibly good looking. I don't think sexy does this boat justice. It's irresistible. That's the wording I'm going to use. So come with me. My name's Dan Jones. Welcome to Dan's Boat Life. We're in Ibiza. This is a really nice place. Just, as you can tell, I'm a little bit excited. So I might as well start up here. We're going to make our way down to the transom, and then we're going to go right throughout the whole cockpit and the interior. So many details. It's almost difficult where to focus our initial attention, but carbon fiber is the theme. This boat is incredibly light. They have gone down to minute details. The background from the design team of SAY Carbon Yachts, Carl and his associates have a bit of a supercar background. So they're taking car design thinking and technology and applying it into what you could refer to as a super boat. And it is possibly the best looking boat externally that is on the market right now. It's really, really gorgeous, but they've also coupled that with an incredibly efficient hull. So everywhere we look, we're going to see weight savings, we're going to see aerodynamics and hydrodynamic efficiencies for underway and at rest. So there's a lot going on. But just get a look at the roof. If you have seen my previous video on the SAY 42, which we did in Cannes, you'll notice that it didn't have a roof. So I think I may have commented that we're going to struggle in Australia and the Asian part of the world, and even possibly down in Florida, because we do need a little bit of shade. Whereas this boat, it's a proper boat. This roof changes the game, in my opinion. We've got all the benefits of the hull. We've got all the benefits of the lower weight, but it's a proper day boat because, let's face it, you can't be in the sun all day long unless you're in a low, harsh environment like the Mediterranean sun. Low, harsh, is that right word? Anyway, jump in the comments. Let me know what you think or how you would describe it. So that is fantastic. This roof is not the finished piece because they've just done a carpeted finish on the inside at the moment. They're actually going to match this material on the seats up on the roof, and that's going to be the finished job. They just had to get to the boat show where we have recently been in Mallorca, and so there's a couple little fine touches there to be done, but you will notice the camera just there. It actually has a full 360 overhead camera system, and I'm going to talk about some competing boats. We're going to talk about pros and cons at the end of this video, and we will be taking the boat for a drive. But I am going to compare this boat or mention some competition that you could assess this boat against, because she has some real winning points, in my opinion. And one of those is, if you want to be an owner-operator, you can. So absolutely you can run this boat with a skipper. You'd only need one. But if you want to be an owner-operator and enjoy this experience by yourself, you totally can. The way this boat drives, the way it's been designed, and some of the equipment that they have set it up with, it allows you to do that. So let's just focus on this sun lounge because there's quite a bit going on here. The 4.4 meters, I think it is, of beam is noticeable. And as you can see, it's quite wide and flat at the back of the boat. We've got a good amount of V and an incredible amount of cutting at the front of the boat. But this Petestep hull, after all that cutting action, she does taper out to this flat stern, which gives us stability at rest. We've been testing it with and without the gyro. We have the gyro on now for the tour, but she doesn't rock around much, which you would think for such a light boat. Literally, you look at one of the direct competitors, she's about 20.5 tons. Light ship, we are 8.2 tons. It's an incredible weight saving. You would expect that boat to rock around a lot, but I do believe this amount of beam at the back of the boat has saved us from needing to rock around too much, and obviously having the Seakeeper gyro, that helps as well. One super cool feature in here, if you are a water sports fan, this is the garage where you would stow your sea bobs. And see these hydraulic actuators just here? You don't even need to lift the thing on deck. How cool is that? So you literally just float up to the back of the boat, deploy the garage, or it opens up and you just push it into the back and this thing comes up. And as you can see, it's got holes in it to allow water to evacuate itself. And that's your water sports toy garage ready to rock and roll. So that's cool. But in terms of storing the cushions and other bits and pieces underneath here is where you do that. So we've got a full garage, two hydraulic or electric actuators, which open up a big stern garage door. All your toys and your bow lounges can be stowed underneath here. I haven't got them in place now, but we'll cut to some shots for that because that entire glass area up on the bow is actually utilised or can be utilised as a sun lounge. And here you go, backrests just here. So they actually come up and lower as well, and you can fix them in what position you wish. You can see the carbon fibre everywhere. It's just wonderful. Shore power in here. The stereo system pumps. We've got speakers right the way throughout this boat. And underneath here is actually your swim shower. So that's hot and cold. And then these are the carbon poles which fit in here, and we have shade both fore and aft when you want to stay at rest. Cleats, pop-up cleats right throughout the boat, midships and forward as well. And behind these panels here, we actually have storage for all our safety gear. But come into the middle and let's get a feel for this accommodation, because this is a real game changer for this brand. Everybody is protected and underneath this shade here, but you do get a lot of natural light coming through those two windows, and they're a pretty cool design. We've actually got storage underneath these seats, but the ergonomics is great. The foam's nice and comfortable. You can tell someone's been thinking about this. This table will actually drop down. You've got carbon fiber drink holders, and they're big and wide drink holders, and I suspect a champagne bucket is probably going to go in there. But you've got 8 drink holders, and if you press this button here, this actually gives you more storage. Not that you necessarily need this on a day-to-day basis, but this seat and that seat on the starboard side both stow all of your extra equipment should you need, but because it's a full overnight boat, we've got even more storage downstairs. Now, underneath this hatch is access to the fuel tankage and the gyro, and underneath the aft storage area is the engine bay. We're going to do that at the end of this video, so keep watching if you want to see into the engine bay. But you go from this lounging area, so you've got the sun lounge, you've got the social eating under the shade, in the protection, subwoofers, speakers behind these panels with the carbon fiber uprights. And then you get sort of into the heart, because we've got this whole carbon fiber barbecue entertainment station. So you just do the release there, that pops up. You've got a tap here, it's all carbon blacked out. We've got, this will be run off the genset, and we actually have, it's kind of like an ice bucket or ice storage area. It's obviously a sink, but I would be loading that up with ice and drinks. And whilst I'm at it, I was looking for this earlier today. Here we go. This is actually a model that gives you an understanding of the underwater profile. So we'll talk about this more in the test drive, but this design, this Petestep hull is quite unique. It's actually designed to give you efficiency from 10 and 20 and 30 and 40 knots. And the hull just kind of runs hard, fast, flat, and efficient using very little fuel. It works, and we'll prove that in the next video. So from here, actually, Diego, you just stay out because I want to give everyone a bit of an understanding. We've got equal amount of stairs on both sides, on port and starboard. So you step out like so, and you've got space to not hit your head. You've got 2 buttons underneath the top step. The top button actually just releases that step there, carbon fiber, very light, and you got waste out and fuel in, and same again on the other side. And then this second button underneath, actually you're gonna have to see there, opens the carbon fiber. Oh, sorry, that button, this one. It opens the drawer just here, and I've just jammed my towel and bags. Normally it pops out, but you get the idea. So that is two of them, big deep drawers on either side. You could even put fenders in there should you wish. We've stowed them underneath this hatch because there's a very, very deep amount of storage underneath there. And then we've got fridges and drawers and everything you would expect for day boating. And this is very much a day boat. You can absolutely overnight on it, but I imagine 99% of you guys will never do that. So it is what it is. So I think we should focus our attention on the Helm console. So come in and have a look. This is, how do I describe this? This is so hard to describe. This is a top 1% boat. You feel like you are at the helm of a spaceship. You feel so cool on this thing, but the driving experience, it's so incredibly smooth because of this Petestep hull and the crazy amount of cutting action up at the front of the boat, that running through the little bit of one foot chop, wind chop that we had on the way here, it resembles a high performance power catamaran. You really do feel like you're just gliding across the water. So you do need to be an active driver. I believe, if you see decent waves, you're going to see a lot of advantage in pointing your bow into those waves and using the design and cutting up the swells, rather than say a heavy American style hull which just wants to bash through at any angle. So if you're an active driver, if you drive a sports car or a motorbike, you're going to see some pleasure and enjoyment in operating a vessel like this. And let's face it, it's so goddamn sexy. Every time you come into the marina, everybody wants to stop and talk to you and take photos. And I enjoy that. So hopefully you do too if you're watching this. But we've got these carbon fiber, full-on custom seats. We've got the flip-up bolster here. They are adjustable. We've got electric operation or adjustment should you wish. And then you can flip up the footrest there. Maybe a little flip-down footrest here would be good for short Dan, but then again, I am one of a kind, so perhaps not. But you see, with that flipped up, you've got all this amount of space. And then my eye line is really good. For my height, the wind vortices go straight over my head. For Diego's height, is more in his face, so just pay attention to that. There might be some fine-tuned adjustments coming from the factory for some of you taller blokes, but for me, didn't affect me. So we're running the twin 440 Volvo diesels. You can get some 6.2 V8s petrols if you wish. That is possible, both of them with the joystick operation, and we have a bow thruster as well. And because we have the stern drives as opposed to surface drives, I know quite a few of you guys in Australia have been buying the surface drive Lamborghini, for example, the Technomar. That's not the easiest boat to reverse park into your marina berth. The surface drives take a little bit more effort, control and assistance, whereas if you have the stern drives with the joystick and the bow thruster, this is still with the access to the midships cleats and the aft deck. This is still a boat that a competent driver can park by himself or by herself. So I'll just leave that with you, because I'm sure some of you are coming from Pershings, Sunseeker Predators, Princess V series, because you've used them as a day boat, and now you're considering, why do I have this boat with 3 cabins that I've never slept in? Jump into the comments if you agree. If I'm wrong, let me know, but I'm just kind of looking at this going, I think that's maybe a market for this boat. So in terms of what we have at the dash here, it's all very spaceship-like. It's super clean, but we've got the Volvo Penta ignition, start, stop. That looks like the horn just there, bow thruster. We've got triple screens immediately in front of the wheel. One of them is the Volvo Penta diagnostics. Then we've got some Garmin displays on either side. And as you can see, we've got the Seakeeper gyro on the starboard. And then we have beautifully well done, wrapped in carbon, completely flat screen, touch screen, multifunctional displays on either side that don't hinder your line of sight, because you've got the wheel here, you've got a direct line of sight straight through the middle of the dashes and all of your information on either side. Operation of the windlass, the hatch to open the windlass, and basically everything is done on the touch screens. That's got pros and cons, to be fair. If you're bouncing around in some really big rough waves, it can be hard to find the button. So sometimes you need to rest your hand on the side and find the button that way. But in the Mediterranean, you don't have many waves, so it's not really a problem. Your engine battery switches are conveniently located right there. So that's sort of no nonsense. And we've actually got a deck hatch just accessing some ventilation down below, which we'll have a look at in a second. But you can throw a phone just here. That is drained in case some rain came through, so it's not going to drown your phone. You've got 2 drink holders here and here. We're on natural teak right the way throughout the boat. I don't know if it's an option to do the fake stuff or whether you have to go for the real stuff. So ask your dealer if that's of a concern or question for you. We've got a VHF just mounted in here, and this is a convenient little space just for throwing things as well. I found that, well, we've been using that today. As a matter of fact, and look, if you're looking for practicality, this is not your boat. Like it's a floating spaceship. So don't jump in the comments and say my center console with twin Mercury V8 300s is more practical than this, because that's the wrong demographic. We're not trying to compare it like that. But there are many little ideas throughout this boat which are still making it practical for a solo operator should you wish to be. And if you want to run it with a captain, it's totally relaxing and doable. So whether it's here in Europe, if it's in Sydney, Dubai, Miami, I see a lot of opportunity. Like, I'm excited about this boat. It's a really special piece of kit. You know, you just, sometimes you lay your eyes on something, you go, if it looks right, probably is, but having driven it for a couple of hours this morning, I certainly believe that's still the case. So come on down. This is a carbon fiber companionway hatch. It's so light and sexy, and that's got a locking system. I don't see a locking mechanism in here, so just make sure you close that when you're underway. And they come down into the accommodation. It's I don't know if any of you guys are going to overnight on one of these boats. I'll tell you right now, if you are planning on overnighting, do it in the marina, because if you haven't been on a carbon fiber racing yacht or powerboat before, can you hear the noise? So unless you have the ability to shut down noises in your life, like I can, yeah, that might annoy some people. So just sleep in the marina. But I honestly don't think many of you are going to be using this boat as an overnight weekend style of boat. But the way they have done it, should you wish to overnight, or should you wish to just come down and have a little nap or tour with some friends or something in the middle of the day, it's beautifully done. You've got all of the carbon fiber exposed. They've done it in a really stylish way. We actually have hidden speakers. We've got storage dotted right the way throughout. The windows, I mean, I think that's a really great touch because they're not obvious externally. It carries the line so beautifully, but if you just came down here and looked at carbon and couldn't appreciate the views, I think that would detract from the experience. And this is really, really nice. The bed is actually comfortable. It's plenty big. You could sit up. I think I mentioned you got that opening hatch there if you don't want to run the air conditioning, but of course you have air conditioning, you've got the fusion control, all your lights here. You've got a little space just here for setting things up if you need. More storage, flat screen TV. It looks like we've got a curtain track in here. So if you wanted to use it in the overnight function, you could make this a private space. And then your head has been intelligently done. So see how this door is open right now? That is actually closing off the shower. So if you come in and then you close the door, actually pass me the camera, Diego, I'll show you guys. So see how that works? So you've got this rain head shower, stylishly done. You've got the, oh, you can see my reflection just there quite well, but you've got these, I think it's cork. It's not timber, but it's timber looking floor surface. What is it?
It's cork.
It is cork, okay. And then you've got a little carbon space just there for storing your soap. So you've got that shower thingamajiggy and the rain head one there, and then this door, see that? And it goes onto a stopper just up there, and everything is secure. But you got your head there, you got this little, don't really know what to do with that. Anyway, jump in the comments if you know. There is storage behind the mirrors. I'll pass this back to Diego because you can get in there. Stylishly done. Everything's really nice. Bit more storage. And what's it for?
That's for the bin.
Oh, it's a bin. Oh, okay, there you go. Here's me going to the toilet off the back of the boat too much. I need to use the actual heads inside. So, little galley in here. So that just doubles back. You've got the sink, nicely done. I think this is a wine cooler. So, and I saw some storage under here and another bin just here as well. But you could fashion this up and do more bins up on deck should you need. We've got some charging in there, and it looks like this table is electric on an electric actuator, and this will also drop down and turn into a bit of a day bed as well. So nice space, light controls, storage up on the bulkheads behind. I think probably the most impressive and standout feature of this area down below when you sit down, it's actually the roof, because you can see all the carbon fiber design, but it's been incorporated with these windows to give you a beautiful picture. Imagine coming down here, even on a winter's day, and a storm rolls over, or a summer storm when you're out boating for the day and everyone comes down here just to shelter from the summer storm. You're actually gonna enjoy the storm from down here. So it's kind of cool. So I think that's enough detail about on deck. I think from here, let's go and have a look at the engines, and then I'll give you my wrap up, and then we're going driving. I hope you're as excited as I am, because you have to check this thing out. It's amazing. All right, so it's a bit of a kerfuffle to get into the engine bay, but once you're in, access is excellent. So the whole floor from this storage garage is actually these carbon fiber bases with foam insulation, and they lift out in two pieces. And once you're in here, you can actually access everything, and all the heat evacuates as well. So I can see crank batteries on either side. Obviously we've got the diesel D6 440s on this one, stern drive through the transoms just there. You've got some blowers aft of the motors. I've got some wiring loom forward and around. That's the chilling for the air conditioning. That's the hot water tank just there. I've got the stern drive hydraulics and systems just there. I've got hydraulics there, and then I've got inverter, charger just there. Through this bulkhead, we've got the house batteries, which are probably lithium, I'm not too sure, forward on starboard. And if you just pass me actually the camera, you guys can come with me, and I'll show you the gen set. And okay, the gyro. So gyro forward gen set on the center line. And I'm assuming, I don't know, the fuel tank is underneath in this particular position. Oh, no, maybe it's up on the side. Maybe it's up on the side built in. I'm not too sure. So if you designed this boat, Carl, you know who you are, jump in the comments and help us out here, because I'm actually not 100% sure of the fuel tank location. However, I did see the water tanks forward of this bulkhead on either side, also in the middle of the boat. So I think that's that. Let's get out of here and give you guys a wrap up. I'm not selling any of these boats, and nor am I doing paid advertorials. I've had a career selling over 450 boats before starting this channel, and today all I do is make unbiased boat reviews for you, because at the end of the day, it's about your boat life, not mine. So I'll link to the website down below that they actually have a really easy to use configurator for this boat, and it's pretty simple and straightforward. You've got the two engine options, a lot of color and upholstery and styling options, but then all the other tick box options are relatively straightforward, I got to say. So it's one of the few configurators I would recommend you jump on and have a look, and all the pricings there in euros if you need. I'm doing this with notes these days because I'm really trying to make these videos as useful as I can for you who are seriously trying to buy one of these boats. Coming up next is going to be the test drive, but who is best suited to owning a boat like this? If you are someone who has owned a 70 to 90 foot fast sports yacht, I'm thinking Sunseeker Predator, I'm thinking Pershing, I'm thinking V-Series Princess and others. If that's been you and you've done your few summers in Sydney, Miami, Ibiza, etc., and you have discovered that your boat life looks more like day boating, and that you never sleep on the thing because you have a villa or a nice house, or it's just not the way you do your boating, well then that's when you might see a hell of a lot of value in having something super special. You're going to be the only guy or girl out on the water enjoying this boat. It is a head turner, so let's face it. Hopefully you appreciated that on your last big sexy boat, but it's going to be even more so in something like this. The other demographics, some of you guys who've had maybe your Technomile Lamborghini 63 or similar, and it's a little bit too technical. Okay, so maybe you had dreams of driving that boat yourself, but you realized it's just a little bit too big. Surface drives or other drive systems are not as easy as you thought they were to operate, and you're shitting yourself trying to park it at the marina. So that's fine. Everyone has to go through that. And if you've discovered that you want something that's a little bit easier to manage in close quarters scenarios, well then that's when this may also provide some great value to you. And another sector, I'm observing that here in Ibiza, but it's also possible in other cities. It's the guys who want to get a bit of a return on their investment. If you want to put a boat like this into day charter, you can. And they earn in high season like up to 5,000 euros a day. So just do the numbers. Yes, you still got to outlay the capital to buy the boat, but it's going to run itself. So you'll have a captain. You can just come in and book the boat out when you want to, and it's going to be working away, paying for itself, and maybe putting a little bit back in your pocket at the end of the season. Don't see it like a profitable business thing. It's not that. It's still a lifestyle investment. You're just having a great time, and you're going to be the only James Bond in the bay. But it's a pretty cool ability to a pretty cool way to own a boat, which is not open to everyone. So that's kind of interesting. What's my feedback on the design? Pros and cons. Lightweight. Lightweight is a pro. Because we are not using a lot of fuel. It is really modern build technology happening here. That also allows us to equip this boat with relatively small engines. So some of the other videos on my channel of boats similar length to this, they're running great big man V12s and V8s, and because they need to, because they're carrying around so much extra weight. So, if you're one of those enviro guys and you want to electrify everything, or I'm going to say, don't bother. Just make a real slippery, lightweight, efficient hull and put small motors. You'll actually achieve a hell of a lot more by taking that route than trying to electrify everything, which doesn't necessarily work in my opinion. So performance, this roof design, this is sexy, it's practical. This is going to open this boat up to many new parts of the world that it was perhaps closed off to with the 42, which was all open. And it's sexy, it's irresistible. This has got to be one of the most beautiful boats I've had on my channel. It's got to be one of the most beautiful boats I've ever seen. So you can't deny, if you just appreciate nice things, this boat does that. What are some of the cons? Well, lightweight, that can also be a con. So, lightweight can also mean rocky. As you will notice, this boat is not rocking. So they have catered to that with the gyro, but they've also catered to that by putting the flat transom on the back of the boat. So it is having the effect of not rocking the boat around at rest. So it's not a problem, but it could be a problem. When the lighter you get, I've experienced this on many boats, in the past that want to do hybrids, and they have to be light for the hybrid to work, and they can rock a lot. But this one is not doing that, so that's good. But you do need to be aware of that parking around the dock, so you have to be more in tune with operating your vessel and using the joystick and the bow thruster when you need, because the wind is going to overtake this boat faster than it would a 20-ton boat. So just consider that. For Australia, I think whilst I love this T-top, I would add a support, and I'll tell you where I'd do it. Right here, because I can see a lot of structure out forward, and as you've seen on some of my other videos, when we take them in the big sea in Australia, this is going to move. But this right here is screaming out at me as beautiful, stylish, carbon fiber dance pole, but you do it in a funky way, and that's literally how I would resolve it for Australia. I don't think it's necessarily required here in the Med, because you just don't see those conditions, and I have seen people doing pull-ups off this roof, so I know it's strong enough, but it'll flex. Those teak panels on either side probably could do a little tickle up for Australia as well. I can see them becoming a problem. And teak itself, again, I'm talking to Australia, I know you Europeans love it, can also be viewed as a bit of a negative, but I'm sure they could replace that with Flexi Teak. Again, talk to your dealer or talk to the factory. Link is down below in the description. The performance feedback, that's the next video. It's really fun, it's amazing, and it doesn't burn a lot of fuel, and it accelerates with a very flat attitude. So even short buggers like me can see over the dash, but it's a completely different boat to drive at the helm than possibly anything you've driven before. So click in the link coming up on the screen very soon. And competition. I can think of quite a few boats that will compete with this, and I'm going to talk about them in the next video. So that's coming up now, guys. I really am excited to bring this one to you because it's just a hell of a special piece of kit. If you enjoy seeing these videos, did you know it's your subscriptions, your likes, your comments, and particularly those of you who are actively trying to buy boats, getting in there in the comments, that's what the factories see, and that's what opens doors for me to film more boats for you. So please keep doing it. I'd appreciate it. Thanks, legends. See ya.